Today is the day, folks. This is my 2001 BMW E46 330i with an automatic transmission. This is my first E46 and the car that got all this started. Daniel is flying in this afternoon from El Paso, Texas to pick her up and drive her on home. This car has actually been sold for like 2 months, so we tried to arrange a shipper to come pick it up off of shipley.com. Turns out they scammed us. They charged us $1,300, well, charged Daniel $1,300, right? And they tried to take the deposit and run, and they never came to us with a pickup date. So he contacted Shipley, got his money back. We arranged for a second shipper. Well, they never got back to us with a pickup date. So here we are about 2 months later. Daniel says, dude, I'm buying a plane ticket. I'm coming out, I'm gonna pick up the car and drive her on home. I think it just goes to show if you want it done right, sometimes you just gotta do it yourself. So it's time to take the E46 for its final drive. I'm gonna run up to the fuel station, fill it up with a full tank of gas, and get it ready for Daniel for his long drive home. I think he's got over 1,000 miles to get back to El Paso, Texas from the north coast of California, the Redwood Forest. Driving great. I took her for a nice long trip yesterday. Made sure to shake her down before Daniel comes and picks it up. And very happy with the car, especially after the drive shaft repair we did. There is a lot of fog right now, and Daniel's plane comes in 3 hours, and we are one of the top 3 foggiest airports in the entire United States. This airport was actually designed for military pilots to train in fog conditions during World War II. $5.89 a gallon. Rough. Yeah, she's running great. Now, I've washed this car like 3 times in preparations for shippers, and it's just been sitting in the garage collecting dust. So I'm gonna use some Stoner Hybrid ceramic detail spray on it with a fresh microfiber. We'll do that on the paint, we'll hit the glass, and then touch up any spots in the interior that needs touching up. We turned this into an amazing car. I got full asking price for it, $6 grand, and I'm just excited to empty up some space in the garage for some new projects and send this thing off to a good home. I'm just really hoping that Daniel will be pleased with the car. I tried to be as transparent as possible through this whole series, you know. Show you guys the deficiencies, but also the strengths. And the exterior isn't perfect, and the car isn't perfect, but it's running and driving fantastic. And in my opinion, that's really what matters. Come on, Sage. You need to get some glass cleaner. Load up. Fun fact, O'Reilly was actually my very first automotive job from 16 to 18 years old. Did you know that Stoner makes invisible glass? Now you do. I think we'll get some more Griot's Garage 3-in-1. This stuff was solid. Window regulator went out on this one 2 days ago, so keep an eye out for that repair coming. I'm gonna do a YouTube short on it. Now we just need to make the glass invisible, touch up the interior. I am a fan. I used to use spray away glass cleaner a lot. That was like my go-to working at the shop, but I can smell that this one has like some sort of, you know, accelerant or some sort of solvent in it maybe, which probably allows it to evaporate so well, but I'm seeing no streaks so far. Then for the inside of the glass, I just like to flip my towel to a spot that's wet but hasn't been used before, so it's fresh, and I'll just use that to do once over on the inside of the windshield. Well, we got about 2 hours to kill. There's been a slight delay on the flight time. I'm gonna go get some tacos because you guys know I love me some tacos. And then we might touch up some seats, although the interior really doesn't need anything else. How you doing, man?
How you doing, my friend?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Saturday shift.
Yeah, man.
All right. I'll do 2 asada crispy tacos and 2 carnita street tacos.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for my tacos, getting back to a couple comments. Just wanted to say a quick thank you for all the feedback on my last E30 video with the odometer and the stereo volume knob. I had no idea I could even clean that type of stuff with a contact cleaner. And I appreciate all the info, all the feedback. So thanks again, guys. You guys are awesome. Look at that spread with a squirt and a little bit of no nonsense know-how. New video, hell yeah. Well, we're back out here ready to finish things up, but the weather is not looking good. Got quite a bit of fog here. I'm about 5 minutes down the road from the airport and not sure what the ceiling is on it, but I'm just hoping there'll be enough clearance for Daniel to make it in. Fingers crossed. Final touch here will be giving the seat some love. Just want to get one last leather conditioner buff in here, really make them shine. You know, I just want him to be happy with the condition of the car. You know, buying a car from across the country, kind of sight unseen, right? You get to see quite a bit of it in the videos, but you know, I just anxious and nervous. I just want to know that he's happy with the car and that it'll get him safely home too, you know. He's got a long ways to go after he buys this thing. And I've done everything I can to make this car safe, roadworthy. I've road tested it. I've fixed everything that I could find that could be a possible issue, you know, everything. There's a little bit of sunscreen stain I just have never been able to work out on this door panel. Sunscreen does a number to these leathers. You guys know any fixes for getting sunscreen off of door panels like that? One final look at the back seat. Cleaned up really nice. Door panel evened out nice. So good with that. That's a wrap on the detail, folks. All the doors are hit. All the seats are hit. The interior is looking fresh. The footwells are looking nice and clean. Maybe a couple little specks here, so you can pick those out by hand. Want it to be perfect, you know? No, I don't want to give Daniel any reasons to not be pumped. Seats are looking nice. She's ready. I'm ready to pick him up. Should just be about another 45 minutes. All right, his flight was delayed, but it's time to go get Daniel. So let's head to the airport, see if we can find this guy. I don't even know what he looks like. There he is. Daniel, pleasure to meet you, man. You made it.
Finally.
Hell of a day of travel, huh?
Yeah.
Let's get you out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, you throw your bag in wherever. Toss it in the back seat if you want.
All right.
Welcome to the Redwoods, man.
It's like 60 something right now. This
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
a world of a difference. Like no AC needed.
No, we're in a pretty cool climate here, honestly.
Yeah.
We don't get the traditional California summers. I mean, down in Southern California,
Right.
it'd be, 90 degrees on a day like today, but we get this nice temperate climate, and a lot of it has to do with the redwoods around here.
Right.
We've had so many challenges with shipping and stuff. I was like, man, I just hope his flights go through.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. I said I came all this way, and hopefully nothing else gets all jacked up.
We're good. You made it, man. You made it. All right, man. Here she is. Been trying to preserve it over the last month or two, you know, just haven't been driving it, just warming it up, you know, but exactly, keeping the battery charged, but trying to keep it clean, you know, keeping it nice and detailed. Those new kidney grills in, like I told you.
Yeah, I had to put some on mine too.
Yeah. Engine bay still nice and clean. There's absolutely zero leaks. Double checked all the fluids today. Everything's looking perfect.
Yeah,
and
inspection would be a cinch.
Ran great. Yeah.
What is this the newer version of the, so that's some kind of a trunco thing or something?
Yeah, so what this is actually, it's a secondary air system. So when you turn the car on and it's cold, what it does is it actually pumps air from this air pump down into this valve right here.
Okay.
And then that valve gets injected into the exhaust. And what it does is it pushes extra air into the catalytic converters to get them to up to temperature faster. So they scrub better and just to lower emissions equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, valve cover's fresh. It's got all new spark plugs, ignition coil boots, power steering fluid flush was done with the new bottle, resealed the oil filter housing with the new Vanos oil line. It's got a new thermostat. It has all new radiator hoses, upper, lower, the water pipes, all the hoses that go back into the firewall for the heater core too. All those are new. It's got new intake boots on the bottom here, all new vacuum lines. Intake manifold came off completely. Resealed all of that with all new intake manifold gaskets. It's got both fresh belts, new AC tensioner, new belt tensioner, new idler pulley. The water pump's been taken care of. The list just goes on and on, man. Yeah. Headlights. I did a brake fluid flush on it. It's got a new DISA valve, rebuilt DISA valve in it too. I swapped the passenger seat from the one I picked you up in today. Right. Swapped it over into this one, and I did the control arm bushings and the engine mounts and the transmission mounts and the flex disc for the trans and the center support bearing and the CV joint in the rear of the drive shaft. Okay. Replaced the torque converter when I removed the transmission. Did a full transmission service too, dropped the pan, replaced the filter. I'm hoping to have this thing running and driving by like August 20th. My stepbrother's coming up for a visit. Okay. I want to get some fresh tires on it and get this thing running and driving so we can cruise around town. Yeah. As of right now, it runs and drives. Do an overhaul on the rear brakes, I think probably this week. Gonna rebuild all the drums with new shoes, wheel cylinders, brake hoses, because all these brake hoses are 40 years old. Oh, yeah, some are a little cracked and stuff. I don't want to take any risks.
Right. This is
84.
84? Okay.
Yeah. This is the oldest car I've ever owned, and it has the least amount of miles of any car I've ever owned too. How many? The odometer stopped working at 65,000. Oh, and so it doesn't have much more. Right. Because the lady I bought it from, Denise, she just used it to drive in town and go to work and stuff. She never really did any big travels on it. Yeah. So I would assume it's probably somewhere around 70K. When I started this channel and when I saw this car, even prior to me starting my channel, I was like, I want an E46. I could see myself owning an E46. And I just love this engine. This M54 is bulletproof. Yeah. You know, we've already addressed all the things that are common culprits on it. You know, the breather and the water pipes and the valve cover gasket and all that stuff. And so pretty much every issue that they run into, I mean, we've pretty much touched. Engine mounts, trans mounts, guibo, center support bearing, all that stuff. So I tried to do everything I possibly could to
we know, we saw it.
And make you happy with your decision to want to buy this thing. So
very, very pleased.
E-brake should be nice and tight too.
Yeah, I already disengaged.
Yeah, I adjusted it and got it nice and tight because I put those fresh shoes on. So I like it. Then you can get a little bit more throw out of it, and as it wears down, you'll just have a little bit higher reach.
Right. Oh yeah, it's like as soon as one click, it's already.
Yep. Yeah, there used to be a little rear end clunk shifting through the gears like that too with that diff pushing, but I renewed all those and it's bitching now. Shifts nice. We're good. I just need a good old handshake, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Yeah, you too, man. Of course.
Anybody else would
It was patient. It was patience on both sides, you know. Yeah. It's been awesome, man. It's been nice talking to you. Great to finally meet you in person. Thank you for your service. It was Navy?
Well, actually, I was in the Marine Corps first.
Marine.
Oh,
yeah, Camp Pendleton. Duh.
First 12 years, and then I got out, and I came back in like about a year or two later in the Army.
Oh, cool. Hell yeah.
20 years.
Nice. It's a long time, man.
Yeah, a lot of crazy shit, too.
Long time. Well, from my channel and from me and everybody, thanks for your service, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
We need more people like you. You're doing a number.
That's almost.
But you're going to go through some cool country, for sure. You're going to see some cool sights.
Definitely. All right.
All right, my friend. Let me know if anything comes up. And she's off, folks. Daniel's taking the E46 to her new home in El Paso, Texas. What a great guy. Had a great time chatting with him. See you, Daniel. Great meeting you, brother. Got the temporary plate on there for her travel back to Texas. And she's gone, folks. Say goodbye to the E46 2001 330i automatic transmission. A successful flip and a happy customer. We finally brought it full circle, folks. I got a natural smile on my face and it feels great. Just spent an hour and a half chopping it up with Daniel. What a great guy. 20 years of service in our United States military. So here's a little update while I'm in the middle of this edit. Daniel left my house Saturday evening around 8 p.m. and made it to Reno, Nevada sometime in the early morning on Sunday. He said the car drove perfect the entire way. The next day he drove from Reno, Nevada down to Las Vegas, heading through the Death Valley area. Well, sometime around in there, the battery light came on while he was driving. And he called me worried, wondering what was going on. I told him, you know, the alternator probably just went out, sadly. And I couldn't predict it. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it happened. So I told him you can limp it as far as there's voltage in the battery. You know, so kill some of the electronics. He was able to push it an additional 60 miles and make it into Vegas. In Vegas, he was able to make it to an O'Reilly Auto Parts. They tested the alternator, confirmed that there was a bad voltage regulator, so he got a new alternator put in, and well, he got a new alternator ordered up and gave me a call. I was able to give him some information in regards to how to get it fixed, what tools he might need, whether it's a 90 amp or a 120 amp alternator, all that good stuff. And as a show of good faith, I wanted to split the cost on the alternator with him, so I went ahead and did that. He got it installed and should be back on the road now, probably back in Texas by now. But that same exact day, I hit the worst pothole of my life, and I actually blew out the front tire on my manual trans E46. So I just wanted to put this note in there. I tried to do everything I possibly could to make sure that car was safe and roadworthy for his trip home, but sometimes things happen. And sometimes you can't foresee these types of breakdowns, so it's always good just to go into a situation, whether it's 100 miles or 1,500 miles, to just always be prepared for the unexpected. You never know what's going to happen, and my dad instilled this in me when I was young, and it's always just good to have a gallon of water with you, or a blanket, or some food, or some spare tools, and just always try to be as prepared as you can for these types of situations when they do arise. Hopefully he made it home safe. I'm going to shoot him a text after I get this video out today just to confirm that the repair went all smooth, but I'm sure that it did. We were in contact quite a bit while he was there broken down in Vegas. Another note too is always make sure that your spare tire, your emergency spare, has adequate tire pressure. I went to put my spare tire on my manual trans E46. The tire did not have enough PSI in it. So I was able to limp it up the street to my brother's house, borrow his air compressor, chuck it up, but I just went out to grab some dinner and hit the worst pothole of my life and blew this tire out.
You don't want to tell me more about it?
Always check the tire pressure in your spare. Nobody ever checks the spare until you need it. And it's kind of flat like this one. Well, that's a wrap, folks. Daniel is on his way 1,500 miles back to El Paso, Texas. He's happy with the car, couldn't be more pleased, and so am I. I'm happy to see this thing go, and I'm super pumped to have a new parking spot in my garage again. I hope you guys enjoyed, or I hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching, and as always, folks, I will see you on my next day off. Cheers.